Alright, welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 6 of the push for relevancy here in Coastal Zone Championship Wrestling. We are here for the final 2 Coast to Coasts before our next pay-per-view, Uprising 2022. And if you're wondering why we're on a not home page, that's because I am hiding something that's on the home page. The agreement I like to have between the stream viewers and the YouTube viewers is that the stream viewers are kind of more involved with my plans and what's going on. If you're a YouTube viewer or a non-VOD watcher, I should say, then I want to keep the surprises more as surprises to you. So I have stuff I would like to hide from the YouTube viewers here in the homepage. So it might just be a picture of the thumbnail. It might be, I don't know what's on screen right now. But yeah, so we're going to be doing Coast to Coast episodes number 8 and 9, the final 2 shows before the next pay-per-view. And Coast to Coast number 8's got a pretty stacked show. I'll go into that right before the show, so I'm not going to run it down just to have past SixtyFour also run it down. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into this first episode of Coast to Coast. Far too much, we're just going to have to deal with it. Not be penalized. Alright. So we kick things off hot and ready. Hardcore match, a little more extreme than the extreme matches. As I've explained, I like to book the Coastal Zone Extreme title as like an X Division title. So while all extreme title matches have to end in pinfall and submission and there's no DQs, they don't really go all out with the weapons per se. However, this match specifically is a hardcore match. They pull out the weapons, they pull out the bricks and a brick. Why was that the first thing that came to my mind? They pull out the chairs, they pull out everything. Zell Quinn tries his hardest, but Luis Montero Jr. is too much for him. He's finally gotten his hands on Zell Quinn after weeks and weeks and weeks of Zell fucking him over constantly. And in the end, after 12:32, Luis Montero Jr. makes Zell Quinn tap out. We'll say he fucking hits him with a crossface, and he does the kendo stick in Zell Quinn's mouth to make him tap out. Really fun way to open the show. Match got a 46. Luis did pretty well. Zell Quinn's still developing. So yeah, great way to kick things off. And yeah, up next though, immediately after the hardcore match is the one with the stakes. Some of the highest stakes that we have seen in this series so far, as it will be a Lucha Libre style tag match. The Wildcats versus Gangster Nation, 2 out of 3 falls match. Losing team must break up, and they're never ever allowed to team up again in Coastal Zone unless the winning team allows them to reunite. And the match gets off to a fun start. It's a fast-paced, high-speed match to kick things off. And we'll say Tigre Salvaje Jr., he goes for a springboard, but he does one of those where he's not looking where he's landing. And Waylon Walls is able to quickly spin that into an O'Connor roll, pulls up the tights, 1, 2, 3, quickly, let's say in like 6 minutes, gets the first fall, steals the first fall in the match. Waylon Walls gets it. And then they continue to keep going, and they keep going. Eventually, miscommunication, their timing was slightly off. Gangster Nation's timing was slightly off. They go for their finisher. El Jaguar is able to break it up. Tigre Salvaje Jr. runs in, throws out Waylon Walls. El Jaguar hits Bullseye with his finisher. 1, 2, 3, we're all tied up 1-1. It all comes down to this last fall, and this is where the Gangster Nation, they lock in. Remember a couple shows ago when I think it was 2 episodes ago on Coast to Coast where Waylon Walls, he had a singles match against a jobber. It was like Juliet or someone, Cillian Catsby, where he just had both men
Bullseye at ringside, Waylon Walls, they had this extra aggression about them. And once this match got tied up, it was brought back. They come in, and there's just nothing that the Wildcats can do. And after 14 minutes and 41 seconds, Gangster Nation hits the Sidewinder on El Jaguar and gets the victory. 2 falls to 1 in a surprise. Gangster Nation has defeated the Wildcats, meaning the Wildcats are broken up and they are no longer allowed to team up ever again in Coastal Zone. Again, I'm adding the in Coastal Zone because I can't control what the AI does. There's a really good chance that CILL or EILL or whatever, they'll reunite them. It doesn't matter. All that matters to us is what's happening in Coastal Zone, and they're never allowed to tag again. So let's return to the booking screen and make this team an inactive unit. 5-time CILL World Tag Champs, 2-time Coastal Zone Tag Champs, one of the last COT Tag Champs, and now it's all over. And there's a quick 2-minute promo afterwards. But I'm going out there. I'm telling him, like, look, dude, this is the last time you're teaming up in my company. Just go out there and just talk to the fans. And it's essentially like a look. We didn't plan for this tag team to ever end, but we're both extremely talented guys. I'm extremely talented. Tigre's extremely talented. We can figure this out solo, and it's gonna be tough. And I don't know what we're gonna be able to accomplish without each other, honestly. But from the bottom of our hearts, we want to just thank every fan in California, every fan watching us from their homes that supported us. Thank you all, and let's make some magic in a different kind of way now, Tigre. How do you say? And just kind of like a wholesome moment, a wholesome goodbye for one of the greatest teams in Coastal Zone history. Afterwards, we have our Masked Cougar versus Tony Day Wonderful match. This was too short for an important match, but I'm not putting Tony Day Wonderful in a 20-minute match. I tried to. Didn't work. But yeah, so essentially the story of this match, and during the Tony Day Wonderful re-debut, the whole point was like, hey, it's a quick match. Tony, get your shit in, do some fun stuff, get the fans to say wow, and then yeah, that's how we're going to sell it. This one is kind of the exact opposite. Yeah, Tony, still do some cool stuff. However, the whole point in this match is you need to go toe-to-toe with Masked Cougar. You need to prove that you are as good of a competitor as Masked Cougar. Even though Cougar was better tonight, maybe next time he won't be. That's the whole point we want to get across. So this match goes 15 minutes and 23 seconds. Eventually, Masked Cougar hits the Cougar Pounce on Tony Day Wonderful, getting the victory. 62 rated match, really fun match. And afterwards, Masked Cougar, he's feeling good. He's gotten a win, his first pay-per-view win in the year 2022. But Fox Maskey jumps onto the apron. He's like, Cougar, come over here. And he whispers something into Masked Cougar's ear. And the second he's done talking, Cougar's head shoots up. He starts to tremble a little. He looks over at Tony Day Wonderful, and he just starts to ground and pound, and ground and pound, and ground and pound, until Tony Day Wonderful has to roll out. He tries to roll to the floor, but he only gets to the apron before Masked Cougar stomps on his neck. He's holding his head down to the apron as hard as he can, so Tony Day Wonderful can't move. Eventually, Cougar gets onto the apron himself, sets up for a pile driver, does the Kevin Owens package pile driver from the apron to the floor, and Tony Day Wonderful grossly bounces up, falls flat, and then Masked Cougar, he fucking fires up, he yells, he's like, fuck, and then they leave, but Tony Day Wonderful can't move. He can't move, and he is stretchered out of the arena tonight after a vicious and unnecessary attack by Masked Cougar and Fox Mask following their match. Up next is the 2v2 tag team title match. It was pretty good. It was alright. Decent match. Good wrestling. However, unfortunately for the Inner City Express, they had a good run going into this pay-per-view, but in the end, it was the Beach Boys coming out on top. After 14 minutes and 31 seconds, Simon Waves submits Jay Becker. Defense number 6 of the Beach Boys tag titles is under their waist, is under their belt, I think that's the right term. But yeah, a little mini feud for the Beach Boys and Inner City Express here. However, a much bigger feud is upon us because now that the Wildcats are taken out for good, Gangster Nation come out and they jump the current tag champs and make their presence known that now that nobody stands in their way, Gangster Nation are coming for the CZCW World Tag Team Championships. Up next is a very good match. Not quite a 70. I was really hoping maybe it would break a 70, but I'm not surprised that it didn't. However, it was still a great match as Carlos Barrera makes defense number 6 of the Coastal Zone Extreme Championship, defeating Kira Lee in 19 minutes and 32 seconds with the Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I have been informed is not a curb stomp, it's an STO, and that is disgusting. However, Carlos Barrera is still doing really well and continues to give us ratings when needed. This dude is just much better than he has any right to be right now. This match gets a 69. Just great overall. And, yeah, going into our semi-main. 76 rated match for Hugh Dayask and American Flash. And it would have been even better if Hugh Dayask was not really off his game. But even with being really off his game, this match gets a nice 76. And, yeah, Hugh Dayask not too happy that American Flash was taking pity on him. He felt like he was being condescending. Whether American Flash was trying to be a dick or not, it didn't matter. It did not come across like he was being, a nice guy. He came off pretty cocky. So that's how this match started. But in the end, 20 minutes and 2 seconds go by. High velocity senton. American Flash gets the victory. And afterwards, the lights dim. And the screen goes black. And on the screen, there's a man. But you can't really make out who it is. There's a guy on screen. It's like he's being interviewed for some sort of, crime show or whatever, where it completely, shadows their face, distorts their voice, and essentially, this guy who we don't know the identity of tells American Flash that, he needs to watch his back because American Flash thinks he's the future of Coastal Zone, and unfortunately, this mystery man says that he is the new future of Coastal Zone, and that, essentially, this is his company now, and American Flash needs to watch his back. Chilling stuff. We don't know where that was coming from. And it's time for our main event, the SoCal Savages versus Going Coastal. Savages want to establish themselves in the tag team scene, and what a better way to do that than taking out one of the best tag teams in Coastal Zone history. And honestly, they do. After 22 minutes and 9 seconds. For some reason, Frankie Perez cheated. I didn't do that. I did not have Frankie Perez cheat. I don't know why it had that. What happened was, Going Coastal were doing some tag team moves near the end of the match when eventually the ref gets bumped. And Heartbreaker runs in, takes out California Love Machine. Frankie Boy Fernandez has no time to go out there and help California Love Machine as he turns around into the SoCal Savages finisher. They don't use the ropes for leverage. I did not put them to cheat. That's very annoying that was put in there. However, Heartbreaker runs in, costs Going Coastal the match. The SoCal Savages get the victory. Frankie Perez pins Frankie Boy Fernandez to get the victory in this 72 rated match. And the closing shot of Coastal Zone Championship Wrestling's Uprising 2022 pay-per-view, we see Frankie Perez holding up high the COTT Heavyweight Championship in one hand and the Coastal Zone Championship in the other hand, making the message clear that Frankie P wants to take Frankie B's Coastal Zone title. And that's how we finished the show. Not a great show. None of these angles really hit. I wasn't able to let them hit at all because my fucking creative team shit the bed once again. Yeah, I'm gonna throw them under the bus. I had 230 creative points to spend. I'm like, all I need is one fucking good creative finish, and then I can do the angle ideas, and I got 5 big gambles in a row. So fucking God, this happens every pay-per-view. Whatever. Frankie Boy Fernandez, you did fucking great. You did incredible. Honest to God, you did incredible. Who else did good? American Flash did pretty well. And honestly, I want to give Carlos Barrera a great performance because he has been doing very well for us recently. We made $38,000 this show, and we gained an extra pop in the Southwest. So before I end this episode, I would like to see how close we are to rising to medium. So just give it a second there. Swipe Romero. Swipe's pretty good. He's not pretty good, but he's got potential. I could see myself possibly pushing him in the future if he gets slightly better. Anything in the news going on? Show was awesome. It always is, guys. Like, what are we doing here? We always know it's awesome. Tony the Wonderful's going to Sideshow for a little bit. Honestly, that's actually perfect. We wrote him off so he can fucking go to Sideshow for a month. Malik Cash got injured. He's upset. Whatever. What was I doing? Here. So, yeah, we're still 12 points away. We're still 12 points away, and we have how much time? How much time? We have just over 2 years. So we're probably going to hit medium before then. So we've got nothing to worry about. Yeah, I'm going to call that one here. I really hope you all enjoyed this edition. I felt like the full build to Uprising was really fun. And I very much enjoyed, and I'm very proud of what I have accomplished in this save so far. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the push for relevancy, and I hope you all come back for episode number, what are we at, number 8